All right, here we go with the Aftershock. Doing a little bit of exploratory throws here. We'll talk about how it feels in the hand. It felt very good. It does feel like a mid-range, although it is a speed 4. It was questionable if it was going to be like a mid-range or an approach disc, but it really does fly and act like a mid-range. It is very true to the fade of 2. See here, always coming in even when thrown on that hyzer, but also to that turn of 0. It holds whatever line you're basically throwing on. There was a little flip up there, but you see it holds that hyzer the entire way and then finishes. We'll see if we have another shot here of a nice little Annie here, and the wind is moving left to right, but the disc does still find a way to try to land flat. Going to another Annie here, coming back the other way again, moving left to right from the angle of the camera, stalls out and then falls. This is not a very good example of what it holds up to as far as the forehand. That one either, especially with the wind going from left to right, it really just took it. But it is a forehandable disc.
All right, here we go with the Aftershock in the field. So discgolf.com has this listed as a mid-range of a speed 5. I think it's probably closer to a speed 4 based on some of the other mid-ranges that I've thrown. But nevertheless, here's where I'm impressed with the disc. This shot right here. Very flat, very straight, and just a subtle fade at the end. And that's going into some wind. So it looks like it's a very reliable disc. That 0 turn, that one I trying to crank on a hyzer into some headwind, it held the hyzer the entire way. So there's definitely some versatility that you can achieve with this disc. Throwing an anhyzer into a cross headwind here, probably not a great idea, but the disc did not immediately burn out because it is relatively stable. I think forehand shots are going to be something that you can definitely work with this disc depending on the wind conditions. But overall, I really enjoyed the versatility of the disc, and I think it holds up really well on a lot of different lines.
The Aftershock is a very versatile mid-range that can handle different angles and can shape different shots, and it's pretty much a disc that you can definitely play a one disc round with. For me, I use the Aftershock for tight tonal shots, turnover shots, or just gentle straight hyzers. The Aftershock is getting a final rating of in the bag.
The Aftershock is getting a rating of in the trunk. While I really like the flight of the disc, it being true to its numbers, love the 0 that it had on the turn and how true that was even in the windy conditions that we were throwing in. The Aftershock just doesn't fit my game per se. For me to pull the Aftershock out of the trunk and put it in the bag, it would have to be on a very wooded course where I need to be more heavy on mids than my traditional tournament bag. I would find it ideal for woods play, and that's why I would keep it in the trunk.
The Aftershock is getting a final rating of in the bag. And that's a little surprising for me because when I first grabbed the disc, it didn't quite feel like some of the other mid-ranges that I currently bag. However, when I took it out into field on different wind conditions and seeing the lines that you can actually carve up with this disc, it made a believer out of me. It's got an overall very straight flight when thrown into some moderate wind. It gives you a little bit of a fade at the end, so it's reliable. That 0 turn lets you know that you can kind of torque over on the disc, not a crazy amount obviously, but it'll hold up to power. I think on anhyzer lines, when you're not throwing it into a crazy amount of headwind, it's going to give you some subtle right hand movement and just kind of fade out and fall flat at the end. I think forehand touch approach shots or even longer forehand shots are definitely possible with this disc. I think it's a versatile mid-range overall, and for that reason, it's going in the bag.
We here at Ace Run Productions want to give a very special thank you to DGA Discs. They supplied us with the disc that you just saw in this latest review. You'll find a link in the description below to get your hands on the disc that you just saw us throwing in the test video. Make sure to head on over to discgolf.com to check out all the latest and greatest in DGA discs. Thank you once again to everybody there at DGA Discs.